So about 2 years back, I was sitting with two of my friends and having a drink. One was 22 years old and one was about 40 years old. And we talked about this concept of who, what versus why. So it was very ironic. A Gen Z thinks of his why first. Why does he exist? What are the things he wants to do in his life from a why point of view? But a person who's in 40s thinks about who and what first, because he thinks spirituality comes next and why is spiritual. So what I discovered was that today both of us are in the same boat, that we have to discover both who, what and why together. So let me give you my own example. As a who and what, I want to create a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm a digital entrepreneur, that's my who. But my why is I want to make 100 million people happier. That's my why. Now what happens is that both these things are almost like a part of the Jim Collins flywheel. If I achieve one, automatically the other will improve. If I achieve the other one, the first one will improve. So let me give you an example. If I do end up touching 100 million people, then automatically it'll make my who and what happen. So if I create a multi-billion-dollar company, then I will not only end up selling more books, I'll be selling more courses, and my why will automatically happen. So the way to look at it is, at this point in time in your life, regardless of what age you are, I think it's important to introspect and find your why, but also find your who. If you find your who, then also find your why. Don't work on it, but when you start working on one, the other will automatically happen. So when I wrote the book called Happiness is a Muscle, I discovered my why, which was making people happier. But what I did was that I realized that if I make 100 million people happier, it'll make me happier. And the outcome I desired from it was, do I improve my own knowledge about happiness? So let me share with you a summary of what the book is about. And the reason it's a part of the digital age is that I think happiness brings you success. Success does not bring you happiness. So if you work on your happiness and you become happier, you will automatically become more successful. So let me go back in time and tell you why I started this quest of happiness. What happened was I had sold my company, so I had made a little bit of money. As a middle class person, the only thing you want to do in life is to make money. And then what happened was 6 months down the line, I found myself in front of my father who was on a ventilator. And I couldn't do anything to save him. And I realized how futile this money was. Something that I valued most in my life, I could not do anything about that eventuality with my father. So I was introspecting in the night in the hospital, and I was saying, okay, I need to find a new why. And my why became, I want to make myself happier every minute, every hour for the rest of my life. And then what I did was, I'm a voracious reader, so I read 40 books on happiness. I went through tens and hundreds of videos on TED on happiness, understood the concepts, how happiness has come into this world, how it's being studied, mental wellness, and all the topics I could read on. And I found something extremely surprising. Almost all the content spoke about this system of increasing happiness from certain actions that you do. So you sleep adequately, you exercise, you be generous, you meditate, you'll be happier, which is true. So what I realized was that this all gives you temporary happiness. But how do you increase your happiness from a sustainability point of view? And I discovered this concept called happiness is a muscle. I said, if you create certain actions every day, which you must, how do you actually work on belief systems that are empowering you? So what I did was, I interviewed tons of people, from Anupam Mittal to Rajesh Jain to Vishal Gondal, etc. And I found that what was their mental models and beliefs that made them happier. And then I put them into a framework where actions are universal, everybody must do them. And what are the belief systems you should develop in your life? I'm going to share a few of my belief systems with you. But again, actions are universal. So if you want to be happier, you must exercise, you must sleep adequately, you must be generous. These are musts. So you can't say, okay, I'm not going to exercise, I'm not going to meditate, but I'm going to be happier. It's not going to happen. But belief systems are your own belief systems. They're individual. I may have a belief system, you may have a different belief system. Anything that empowers you will make you happier. So let me share with you a few of my belief systems. One of my belief systems I've already shared is a belief system called learnability. Now, learnability is learning new things with no outcome in mind. It gives you a dopamine rush, it gives you satisfaction and serotonin. It basically increases your happiness, guaranteed, and you become a better you. let me share with you some other belief systems that I have developed which have really increased my happiness. So one of my other belief systems is this concept called trust. Now, when I trust everyone, there is a chemical which is produced which is called oxytocin, which is a team chemical. And the more and more trusted environment you are in, there is a more serotonin and oxytocin in the environment. That's the reason they say happier companies are more successful, because they have a lot of oxytocin where people collaborate and help each other grow. So one of the other beliefs that I have, which I want to elaborate more, is this concept called money. Now, all of us know that money brings us happiness. In fact, I gave a TED talk that money actually increases happiness. But all research has shown that, let's say, if you're earning $20,000 a year and you are happy, when you start making $40,000 a year, you actually increase your happiness substantially. It's almost linear to happiness, to money. But when it becomes 80,000, again it grows exponentially. But then what happens is it stagnates. After about 50, 70 lakh rupees a year, what happens is that your happiness stagnates. Additional increase in money does not increase happiness. So what I did was, 20 years ago, I decided to hack this concept of money giving me happiness. So what I did was, I have this now a framework where every single thing that I own in my life, or every single experience that I have experienced so far, if I decide to upgrade it, I upgrade it by a factor of 4x. So let me give you an example. If I have a 100 rupee car, I will not upgrade my car to 150 rupees. I will wait till the time I can afford a 400 rupee car. After a 400 rupee car, I will not upgrade it to 600 rupees. It has to be, the next car has to be 1600 rupees. So every single thing that I in my life, I upgrade by a factor of 4x. In the same way, my experiences. If I've gone on a vacation which costs $5,000, then I went on a vacation which is $20,000. Then I may go into space which is $100,000. So every single experience that I have, if it's a upgrade, it needs to be 4x of what I used to have earlier. Now, a lot of people may think that this is a philosophy of spending money. Actually, it's not. It's a way to save money. Because in order to afford a 4x house, I have to save money, because for a 4x house, you won't get a loan. People may think that, okay, then you'll have a lot of things. I don't. I have 2 jackets. They're nice jackets, but the fact of the matter is they are 4x of my previous jacket, but I just have 2 jackets, because it's almost minimalism, because you have fewer things, they're nicer, and they are better, but you have fewer things because you can't afford too many of them. Same way, if you take things like decision making, right? All my decisions now are consequential, because if I buy a new house or a new car, it's a consequential decision. It's 4x or 16x of what I used to have. Then I better spend a lot of time in taking that decision, because I've got to live with that decision for a long period of time. It also sets very good priorities in your life. So what happens is, I may not upgrade my shirt ever again. I'm happy with the shirt that I have, but my music system is going to be 4x till the time I can afford it. So there is this speakers in Sweden where this audiophile makes only few speakers in a year, and they sell for $1 million a pair. So I can't afford it today, but one day if I can afford it, that's what I'm going to upgrade to, because I know that there are hundreds of things in life, few things are important to me, and those are the ones I'm going to upgrade. I've seen that this has transformed my life, because as a consultant, the feeling of confidence and success is very critical in how you project yourself to the world. So just imagine, right? Today when I look around my house, I look around everywhere, I see something which is 4x of what I used to have, something which is 16x, something which is 128x. So imagine on a day-to-day basis, I'm reminded of the growth I've had in life, which gives me so much of confidence when I walk out of the house every day, which completely transforms my confidence from the, how well I have done in my life. The last thing I would like to cover is this concept called hedonic adaptation. What happens is that when you upgrade your life in an incremental manner, the challenge is that those increments don't register in your mind. So what happens is you upgrade your car by 25%. What happens in 3 months, 2 months, you'll even forget that you bought a new car. But if you upgrade your car 4x, even after 2 years when the car comes to receive me in a driveway, I get this joy that I have such a nice car, because it's a significant upgrade of what I used to have. The last most important point that I've seen in this hack of happiness with money is that when you upgrade your life, obviously you get joy, but the most amount of pain that you get, both for you as well as your family, is when you have to downgrade. Even if you downgrade something 20%, what it does is it affects your family, it affects your happiness. So now what happens is I have a buffer for everything I have in my life, for my house, for my car, for my jackets, for everything that I own. Then what happens is that I know that I may not be able to upgrade my house and I'm going to meet my maker in the house that I live in, but the fact of the matter is I will never have to downgrade it because I have a buffer for everything that I own in my life. This is just one of my philosophies about money. I have philosophies on karma, on tribes, on learnability, etc. And they all dovetail into this belief system that we need to inculcate if we really want to be happier in life. So I repeat, actions are something that you must do if you want to increase your happiness. So the way I look at it is, happiness is almost like a baseline. I'm an optimistic guy, I'm 80 on 100. Somebody could be a realistic kind of a person, he's 50 on 100. Both of us win a lottery. My like 60, 80 becomes 90, his 50 becomes 70. But after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year, we'll both come back to our baseline. If we can do a set of actions every day, which is exercise, sleep adequately, meditate, be generous, and along with that, develop empowering belief systems about money, about trust, about learnability, etc., then your 70 can become 72, can become 73. So one point of time, nirvana would be that your steady state is 100. It's ecstasy all the time. You may break a leg, it may come down to 90, but you'll come back to 100 eventually. That's the way I've built up this book, Happiness is the Muscle, and I repeat, happiness brings you success. Success does not bring you happiness. I'm hoping that you get a lot of success in your life, understand the digital age,